And this, my friend, is the storm that we are currently living in. Some days it feels like the world is on fire with hate. And here we stand right in the middle of the flames. Hi, my friend, and welcome to the Bounce Back Black Woman podcast. I'm Dell, and with God's help, I've overcome some of the toughest trials in life that I could ever have imagined. Do you find yourself struggling to move beyond a heartbreak or a hardship, asking God, why me? Well, I'm here to help women just like you heal and build the resilience to overcome life's greatest trials. If you long for joy and confidence again, this podcast is for you. So grab your headphones and those hardships. Let's talk. Hey, my friend, and welcome back to Bounce Back Black Woman. So I want to start this episode out with some ruthlessly intentional honesty. Many of you know that I'm a baker, and I do mainly celebration cakes for life's biggest celebrations. And last week, I had what I would call a cake fiasco. It caused me to have a full-on meltdown, and I pulled a rare all-nighter, which took me out. It pulled me off course, and I didn't even get Friday's episode out. And you know what? I'm okay with that, because life happens sometimes. My client, she handled it with grace and understanding, and she still had an amazing event with a beautiful cake that everyone loved. And I think that my listeners, you, will understand as well, and maybe even need to hear that grace matters, even here on the podcast. And that's a part of resilience, giving ourselves permission to not always have to be on. And so I'm back, and we are embarking on an arc of episodes that I think is very timely and very necessary. Today we're beginning that 3-part arc that I'm calling Resilience in an Age of Division. If you've been with me for a while, you know that my tagline was recently updated because it used to say bouncing back after heartbreak. And once I learned that many people identified heartbreak only with romantic breakups, I wanted to make it more inclusive. And I updated it to say building resilience after life's toughest trials. And I want to be real in today's episode. The current climate in the United States of America is definitely one of those trials. Now, before we dive in, I want to remind you, if you're not already on the Bounce Back Black Woman Weekly newsletter list, you are missing out on encouragement and behind the mic reflections that I only share there. So I want you to go today and head to bouncebackblackwoman.com, or you can simply check the show notes and sign up. It's quick, it's free, and it will keep us connected beyond this podcast. So let's get into it. When you turn on the news or you scroll your feed on whatever your preferred platform is, it often feels like hate is shouting at us from every corner. National Guard troops deployed here in the D.C. area, and not for foreign threats, but for our very own citizens. Children are being ripped away from families. People are being held in less than humane captivity simply because they don't look like us or fit someone else's idea of belonging. And let me be clear, my friend, this is no longer simply about politics. This is not about right versus left or liberal versus conservative. This is about humanity. This is about cruelty. This is about hatred. And this is about division. And all of those things are breaking hearts across the country. including mine. And this, my friend, is the storm that we are currently living in. Some days it feels like the world is on fire with hate. And here we stand right in the middle of the flames. As a Black woman, I don't just read about hatred. I live inside its rippling effects. From microaggressions in everyday spaces to the trauma of watching injustice replay itself over and over. Hatred doesn't just stay out there. It presses on our hearts, our bodies, our minds, and our spirits. And it hurts, my friend. It hurts. So what do we do? What can we do when hatred is all around us? The first thing we can do is name it, because pretending that it doesn't exist doesn't make us stronger. It makes us numb. Hatred is real. Division is real. Injustice is real. And we have to name it and call it out. The next thing that we do when hatred is around us is that we recognize the toll that it's taking. Researchers have a name for it, and it's called racial battle fatigue. It's the exhaustion that comes from constantly navigating hostile environments. It's not weakness, my friend. It is your body saying, this is too much. I know for me, I tend to numb myself when I can't consume any more of the hatred and the heartbreak. And that numbing may look like going down a rabbit hole of social media. That may look like just vegging out and turning everything off and staring out the window, or sleeping a lot. Whatever your form of numbing yourself, I want you to recognize it. And I want you to start to control it so that it doesn't begin to poison your heart. Guarding your peace is not denial. It's survival. So recognize the ways that bring you peace and allow you to guard your heart from all of the hatred and the noise that is happening. So here's what gives me hope, friend. God is not absent in this chaos. Never has been, and he never will be. Psalm 34:18 reminds us of this. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Isaiah 41:10 says, so do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Psalm 46:1 says, God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. And then Jesus himself tells us in John 16:33, in this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. And my friends, that is the assurance that we cling to. We have to, so that hatred doesn't get the last word. So why does hatred hurt so much? It's because hatred isn't just loud words or ugly policies. Hatred is actually violence. And it's the kind of violence that communicates, you don't belong here. You are not as good as I am. You are not equal to me. And belonging is one of the deepest human needs that we have in the world, at work, in your family, in your home, in your friend circles. Belonging is a necessity. And that is why hatred cuts so deep, because it attacks the very core of who we are. So here's the takeaway, friend. You can't control the hate around you, but you can protect your heart from becoming bitter or hopeless. Your peace, it's sacred. So guard it, and guard it fiercely. And remember Philippians 4:7. The peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. And here's a journal prompt for you. Where in my life am I most affected by the current hatred and division around me? And how can I guard my peace in that space while not turning a blind eye to the atrocities that are happening? Now that, my friend, is a journal prompt if I've ever heard one. And just so that you know, I am going to be journaling about that this week, right along with you. I'd love to hear what comes up for you when you journal those prompts. And if you don't have a journal, remember that you can check the show notes or go to Amazon and get the Bounce Back Black Woman Podcast Companion Journal. It's designed for you to write about the takeaways related to these episodes. And the good part about having that journal is that you can go back and reflect on what you wrote, and it will tell you exactly which episode prompted it, so that if you need to re-listen and re-ground yourself, you can do that easily without having to sift through all of the episodes to find just the right one. Now, I want to let you know that this episode is part 1 of a 3-part series that I'm doing on resilience in the age of division. And so next time, we'll talk about what happens when the system itself breaks our hearts and how to find God in the middle of that injustice. This kind of processing shouldn't be done in isolation, my friend. And yes, your friends and your family can be supportive, but there's nothing quite like communing with other women who know exactly what it feels like to carry these kinds of burdens. And so inside of our private Facebook community called Bounce Back Black Woman, we discuss and grow and heal and share together. So if you've been looking for a safe, encouraging space to process what's heavy and celebrate what's hopeful, that is the place for you, my friend. So go and find it. Come and join us today. And remember, my sis, even when hatred surrounds us, peace is possible because God is on the throne and you are not alone. Well, that's it for today, my friend. I really hope this episode inspired, encouraged, or just plain comforted you. If so, please share it with a friend who might be struggling in her own healing journey. And if you take a moment to leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts, you'll help other women find encouragement through their heartbreak. Remember that God is holding your hand along this journey. And guess what? I'm holding the other. Life is short, so bounce back, Black woman.